Self-mailers are a popular form of direct mail because they offer several advantages. They're easy to design, inexpensive to produce, and they give you a lot of creative flexibility. In this video, we'll cover the following machinability requirements for self-mailers: format, shape and size, material, folding and sealing, and enclosures. For machinable mail, there are two self-mailer formats: single sheet and multiple sheet. You can use either format based on what makes sense for your campaign. We'll explore more details about what differentiates these formats when we review folds. Let's move on to shape and size. The self-mailer length must be a minimum of 140 mm long to a maximum of 245 mm long. The self-mailer must have a minimum 90 mm to a maximum 156 mm width size. Self-mailers must have a minimum thickness of 0.18 mm and cannot be thicker than 5 mm. They can weigh anywhere from 2 grams to 50 grams. Irregular shapes or die cuts for self-mailers must be tested and approved through Canada Post prior to deposit to ensure they can be machined and qualify for the machinable price. It's good to note that square-shaped self-mailers are only accepted if tested and approved by Canada Post prior to deposit. Let's look at the material you can use. Self-mailers must be made from paper. They cannot be made with or wrapped in plastic. A single-sheet self-mailer must be constructed using paper of a minimum of 90 grams per square meter, or GSM for short. This is approximately 60-pound text stock. For optimal results, we recommend using 161 GSM, or 65-pound cover stock, or heavier. A multiple-sheet self-mailer requires 60-pound text stock at a minimum. For optimal results, we recommend using 105 GSM or 70-pound text or heavier. Now let's talk about folding and sealing. The single-sheet self-mailer is sometimes known as a fold-over self-mailer. It's constructed by folding a single sheet of paper one or more times. Bifolds and trifolds are commonly used formats. A multiple-sheet self-mailer is constructed of at least 2 sheets of paper folded and bound together. Multiple-sheet self-mailers resemble booklets. A good example is the mini catalog. Whether single-sheet or multiple-sheet, the folded edge must always be the longest edge of the item. The folded edge must be the bottom edge. Self-mailers can be oriented horizontally or vertically. For items with a horizontal address orientation, the folded edge is below the address block. For a vertical orientation, the folded edge is to the left of the address. When using gatefolds on a single-sheet self-mailer, both long edges will have a fold. These flaps can be equal or unequal size, provided the flap does not extend to the bottom edge. When folding your item, it's important to make sure it doesn't bulge. Otherwise, it could jam in our equipment. There are dozens of creative ways to fold your self-mailer. Just remember to ensure your bottom edge is always along a fold line. Let's take a look at sealing. Clip seals, sometimes called a tab, are used to seal self-mailers. Clip seals can be made of paper or plastic. They can be perforated or non-perforated. You can also use glue or spot seal instead of a clip, provided sufficient adhesive is used. Sealing is very important. If the seal breaks, your item can be damaged. To help determine if your clip or spot seals are sufficient, we recommend the following test. Bend your item back and forth 5 times. If the seal breaks during test, then it will break in processing. If it does not break, the seal should be able to withstand handling in the multi-line optical character reader. The location of your clip or spot seal depends on your mail item's orientation, either horizontal or vertical, whether you are preparing a single-sheet self-mailer or a multiple-sheet self-mailer. Follow these simple requirements. For the single-sheet self-mailer horizontally addressed, A single clip seal or spot seal is required along the top edge, the longest edge above the address. For the single sheet self-mailer vertically addressed, a clip or spot seal to the right of the address block, the longest edge to the right of the address, is required. For multiple sheet self-mailers, 2 clip or spot seals are required. For horizontally addressed self-mailers, a clip seal must be applied to the top edge, longest edge above the address, and the leading edge, short edge perpendicular to the bottom edge. Or 2 clip seals along the leading edge, short edge perpendicular to the bottom edge. For vertically addressed self-mailers, a clip seal must be applied to the top edge, longest edge to the right of the address, and the leading edge, short edge perpendicular to the bottom edge. Or 2 clip seals along the leading edge, short edge perpendicular to the bottom edge. Gatefolds on the non-address side of a self-mailer must be securely sealed with a clip seal. Now that we've covered the basics for folding and sealing, let's review enclosures. Paper-based enclosures and tip-ons must be securely fastened within the self-mailer. For optimum results, try to place all enclosures near the center of gravity, basically central in your item. Non-paper enclosures are not accepted unless tested and approved by Canada Post prior to deposit. Finally, in addition to the items already mentioned, self-mailers with the following creative features must be tested and approved by Canada Post prior to deposit. Alternative tab or sealing locations not described in this video. Zipper seals or perforations on the exterior items, and die cuts placed along the top, leading, or trailing edge. Meeting these requirements will ensure that your items will be successfully processed without delays or damage. For other videos in the Machineable Mail series, or to see more information in our customer guide, visit canadapost.ca/postal services.